My girlfriend is 27 years old. I'm 22, and she just leaked my explicit photos because I stopped giving her my debit card. Even as I say it in my head, it sounds unreal, like something that should be happening to some guy in a Reddit post, not to me. But it's my reality now, and there's no waking up from it. I'm sitting on my couch, phone in my hand, the glow of the screen painting my face in pale blue light. Every time I refresh the page, the pictures are still there. They're not going anywhere. My stomach twists, and it's not just anxiety. It's betrayal, anger, humiliation, all tangled into one burning knot. I trusted her more than anyone. She was my person. And now, she's the reason people I don't even know have seen parts of me I never wanted public. The apartment is quiet, painfully quiet, except for the low hum of the fridge. It feels like the whole world is holding its breath. I lean forward, elbows digging into my knees, my fingers pressing against my temples. I'm not sure if I'm trying to stop my head from spinning or if I'm just afraid that if I let go, I'll completely fall apart. Her voice is still in my ears, like she's standing right here in the room. If you don't let me use it, I'll leak your nudes. She said it like she was talking about the weather, calm, casual, deadly serious. I thought she was bluffing. I thought she wouldn't dare. I was wrong. The link came to me through a friend. He called, his voice hesitant, like he didn't even want to say it out loud. "Man, I think you need to see this." First, I laughed. I told him it wasn't funny. Then he sent me the link, and my world cracked open. I saw myself, not just my body, but my face, my expressions, things I'd shared in the privacy of our relationship. Every image felt like a punch to the gut. And the worst part? I recognized the exact moments those pictures were taken. Moments I thought were safe. I set my phone down and get up, pacing the room. The walls feel closer than they should. I keep thinking about calling the police, about finding a lawyer, about doing something, anything, but my thoughts are stuck in this fog. Every step feels like I'm walking through water. I make the mistake of opening my messages. The first one is from an unknown number. "Saw your pics, LOL." My chest tightens. I delete it instantly, but it doesn't matter. The damage is already done. I walk into the bathroom and turn on the light. The brightness is harsh, unforgiving. I look in the mirror and don't recognize myself. The guy staring back at me looks older, more tired, like someone who's been hit by a truck he never saw coming. I splash cold water on my face, the shock making me gasp. It doesn't help. It doesn't wash away the betrayal or the sound of her voice when she made that threat. It doesn't change the fact that she followed through. I grip the sink until my knuckles ache. I keep asking myself, how did we get here? How did the girl I met at the gym turn into the person who just destroyed me? I still remember the first time I saw her. The gym was packed, music pounding, weights clinking. She was at the squat rack, her ponytail swaying as she moved, focused, confident. When she caught me looking, she smiled, and that smile pulled me in like a magnet. I walked over between sets, made some joke about not copying her workout. She laughed, really laughed. We talked, exchanged numbers, and from then on, it was like we couldn't stop talking. The first few months were perfect. We'd grab smoothies after the gym, take late-night drives with the windows down, fall asleep during movie marathons. I felt like I'd found someone who truly understood me. I had a part-time job at an electronics store, nothing fancy, but it covered my bills and gave me enough for dates and little surprises. I liked taking care of her. Dinner, movie tickets, it felt natural. Started small. She mentioned running out of protein powder, so I offered to buy it. Then, a week later, she asked if she could just order it herself with my card. Save me the trip. I didn't think twice. She was my girlfriend. But it didn't stop there. Soon, my card was paying her gym membership. Then came the shopping sprees, H&M, Zara, Sephora, sometimes $200 in a single visit. Every time I told myself it wasn't worth the fight. Truth is, I was afraid. Afraid she'd think I was cheap. Afraid she'd get mad. Afraid she'd leave. Last week, I finally said something. We were at her place, half-finished takeout between us. I told her I wasn't comfortable with her using my card anymore. My voice was calm, but my hands were sweating. She didn't yell. She didn't argue. She just looked at me, And then she said those words that would rip my life apart. "If you don't let me use it, I'll leak your nudes." I laughed, because I thought there was no way she'd actually do it. But now, sitting here, staring at the wreckage, I know exactly how wrong I was. I thought I knew what betrayal felt like. I thought I understood heartbreak. Turns out I didn't have a clue until now. When I said no to her last week, I thought maybe she'd roll her eyes, maybe complain, maybe get cold for a couple of days. But this is nuclear. This is her pressing a button I didn't even know existed. I can't stop replaying that moment in my head. The way she leaned back on her couch, arms crossed, eyes locked on mine. Not with anger, but with this flat, empty look that somehow felt worse. Like she'd already decided. Like she was daring me to test her. "If you don't let me use it, I'll leak your nudes." I remember blinking, trying to figure out if I'd misheard her. I hadn't. I told her she was being ridiculous. I told her I wasn't scared. But I was. Not because I thought she'd actually do it, because I realized in that moment that the person sitting across from me wasn't the person I'd fallen in love with. Now, my phone won't stop buzzing. Half the messages are from numbers I don't recognize. The other half are from friends asking if I'm okay. Their words awkward, unsure, like they don't know if they should say anything at all. Some haven't said a word, and that silence stings just as much. I grab my hoodie off the back of the couch and pull it on. Even though it's not cold, I feel exposed. Like the walls in here aren't thick enough, like everyone outside can see me. I sit back down and open my laptop. If I'm going to survive this, I need a plan. I start Googling what to do if someone leaks your private photos. The results are a mix of legal advice, blog posts, and horror stories. Some people got their pictures taken down in a few days. Others, not so lucky. It makes my skin crawl. There's something called revenge porn laws. Apparently, in my state, it's illegal. That means if I go to the police, I have a case. But my mind is already playing out the scene. Me walking into a station, explaining what happened, watching an officer's face change as they realize what I'm talking about. I can already feel the shame boiling in my gut. I open her Instagram. She's posted a picture of herself at the gym, smiling like she hasn't just detonated my life. The caption is something about self-care and cutting out negativity. My hand tightens into a fist. Part of me wants to comment, to call her out in front of everyone. Part of me wants to drive over there and I don't even know. But the rational part of me, the tiny, trembling voice in my head, keeps saying, don't give her more ammo. Don't let her twist this. I slam the laptop shut and sink back into the couch. My breathing feels uneven, like I've just run a mile. The air in here feels thick, heavy, pressing down on me. I think about the first time she ever used my card without asking. It was small, barely $20 for a supplement. She texted me a picture of it like it was cute, like it was some inside joke.
Y de lauga.
I told myself it didn't matter, but it grew. Month by month, swipe by swipe, she tested the limits. And I let her. I told myself it was love. Now I see it for what it was, control. My phone buzzes again, but I can't look. Instead, I walk to the kitchen and pour a glass of water. My hands are shaking so badly that some spills onto the counter. I wipe it up with the sleeve of my hoodie, staring at nothing. I think about my parents. They don't know yet. God, I hope they don't find out. I don't even know how I'd explain it. How do you tell your dad that the woman you've been dating for 2 years just blasted your naked pictures online because you stopped giving her money? I take a sip of water, but it doesn't make the dryness in my mouth go away. Nothing will. I pace the kitchen, then the living room, then back again. My body feels restless, like I need to move, but my mind is trapped in the same loop. Her threat, my disbelief, the link, the pictures. I think about the night I sent them to her. We'd been apart for a week. She was visiting family. We were texting late, the conversation drifting into flirtation, and she asked. I hesitated, but she said, "Come on, it's just for me." Her voice had that teasing warmth that always made me cave. So I sent them, never once thinking they'd end up anywhere else. Now here they are, not just in her hands, in strangers' hands, forever. I grab my phone again and scroll through her contact. I type out a message, then delete it. Then I start again. Delete, over and over. Everything I want to say feels too small for what she's done. Or too big. Something I can't take back if I send it. My thoughts are interrupted by a knock on the door. I freeze. It's late. No one ever comes by unannounced. For a second, my mind flashes with the worst possibilities. Neighbors who saw, someone here to laugh, someone here to take a picture. I don't move. The knocking comes again, louder this time. I force myself to the door and peer through the peephole. It's Mark, one of my friends from the gym. I open the door, and his face says it all. He's seen them, or at least he knows. "Hey," he says quietly. I step aside, letting him in. He stands in the middle of my living room, looking at me like I'm some fragile object he's afraid to touch. I don't even know what to say, he admits. Then don't, I tell him, because there's nothing to say that will make it less real. He sits down on the couch, his hands clasped. "You should talk to the police," he says. I nod, but I don't commit. We sit there for a while, the silence between us heavy. When he leaves, the apartment feels even emptier than before. I lock the door, double-check the latch, and lean my forehead against it. I've never felt so alone. Back on the couch, I stare at the ceiling. I tell myself I'm going to do something about this. I tell myself I'm not going to let her get away with it. But for now, all I can do is sit here, phone in hand, scrolling through the wreckage of what used to be my life. The thing no one tells you about humiliation is that it doesn't sit still. It spreads. It seeps into everything, even the smallest moments, until it's all you can feel. It's not just the pictures anymore, it's how I move, how I breathe, how I even exist right now. Every time my phone buzzes, I feel like the walls close in. Every time I hear a voice outside my door, I wonder if they've seen them. I haven't eaten all day. There's a half-empty pizza box on the counter from last night, but the thought of food turns my stomach. My mind's running too fast, replaying everything, filling in gaps I don't even want to think about. I grab my hoodie and pull the hood over my head, even though I'm still in my own apartment. It's not about warmth, it's about hiding. Even here, even alone, I can't shake the feeling that I'm exposed. I check her Instagram again. She's posted another picture. It's her at some cafe, a latte in front of her, hair perfect, smile wide. The caption, "Life's too short to deal with drama." I want to throw my phone across the room. This is a game to her. She's sitting somewhere right now, sipping coffee, maybe scrolling through the same pages I am, watching me unravel, and she's probably smiling. I open a blank text to her. I type, "Take them down." Then I delete it, because I know she won't. Not because she can't, but because she doesn't want to. She wants me to suffer. I think about calling her mom. I have her number. She gave it to me once early on, just in case. Her mom liked me. Maybe she'd be horrified to know what her daughter just did. But the thought of dragging her family into this feels wrong. Or maybe I'm just not ready to light that fuse. Instead, I open my laptop again and start looking up attorneys. Half of them have terrible websites with cheesy slogans like, "Justice for the little guy." I don't even know what I'm looking for. Someone who won't see me as a joke? Someone who will treat this like the violation it is? I bookmark a few names, but I can't bring myself to send an email. Not yet. I'm too tired. The apartment feels smaller than ever. I need air. I slip on my shoes, keep the hood up, and step outside. It's late, almost midnight, but the air is warm and still. The street's quiet except for the occasional car. I start walking, no destination in mind, just putting distance between me and that suffocating living room. Every shadow feels like eyes. Every sound feels like a whisper. I pass a couple sitting on a bench, laughing softly, their heads close together, and it twists something in my chest. 2 years ago, that was me and her. Now she's my worst enemy. I end up at the park. The benches are empty, the playground dark. I sit down, staring at the ground, the smell of cut grass in the air. This place used to calm me. Tonight, it just feels empty. My mind drifts back to our first big fight. It wasn't even about money, it was about time. She wanted me to skip a shift at work to go to some event with her friends. I told her I couldn't. She didn't yell. She just got quiet, icy. I spent the next week making it up to her, buying her things, apologizing for not being more available. Now I see what that was. It wasn't about the event, it was about control. I pull out my phone again. Her contact stares at me from the screen. I could block her. I could erase her number and pretend she doesn't exist. But that won't erase the photos. That won't erase what she's already done. Somewhere in the back of my mind, a darker thought whispers, maybe I should get revenge. Maybe I should find something on her and make her feel the way I feel right now. But even as the thought forms, I hate it, because that's her. That's not me. And if I cross that line, then what's left of me after? I stay on the bench for a long time, listening to the distant hum of traffic, until the air starts to feel cooler. When I finally stand up, my legs feel stiff, like I've been holding myself in one position for too long, which is exactly what I've been doing, with my body, with my life. Walking home, I keep my head down. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want anyone to see me. The building looms in front of me, lights glowing from the windows of other people's lives. Lives that feel untouched, clean, safe. Inside, I lock the door immediately. Habit now. I kick off my shoes and drop my hoodie on the floor. The air in here feels just as heavy as before, but at least it's mine. I pick up my phone again. A new notification. Another message from an unknown number. I don't even open it. I just delete it. I can't let myself spiral again tonight. Instead, I grab my notebook from the shelf. It's old, pages bent, cover worn. I flip to a blank page and start writing. Not about her, not about the pictures, at least not directly. Just words. Fragments of how I feel. The kind of things I can't say out loud yet. My handwriting's messy, rushed. Half of it doesn't make sense. But it feels better than scrolling through the same nightmare online. At some point, my phone buzzes again, but I ignore it. I keep writing until the words slow down and my hand starts to cramp. When I finally close the notebook, I feel not okay, but lighter, like I've shifted some of the weight off my chest. I lie down on the couch, staring at the ceiling in the dim light. I tell myself tomorrow I'll make the call. To the police, to a lawyer, to someone. Tomorrow I'll start fixing this. But tonight, I just let myself breathe. For the first time all day, I close my eyes without seeing her face. Morning doesn't feel like morning anymore. It's just another shift from dark to light with no real reset. I wake up on the couch, my neck stiff, my clothes twisted around me. For a few seconds, there's peace, just the fog of sleep. Then memory slams back in, heavy and cold. I sit up slowly, rubbing my eyes. The room smells faintly stale, like the air hasn't moved all night. The hoodie from yesterday is still crumpled on the floor. I think about putting it on again, but I force myself not to. Hiding isn't helping. The notebook sits on the coffee table, my messy handwriting from last night still visible through the slightly bent cover. I flip it open and reread the last page. Some of the words feel foreign, like someone else wrote them. But it's me. It's all me. My phone is charging on the floor, the cable stretched taut. I hesitate before touching it. It's like picking up a weapon that could turn in my hand at any second. 2 missed calls. 3 unread messages from numbers I don't recognize. One from a friend. Dude, is this for real? I don't open it. I don't need the details. I already know. Today has to be the day. If I wait any longer, she'll think she's untouchable. Maybe she already does. I open the Notes app and type out exactly what happened. No fluff, no emotion, just facts. Her name, her age, what she did, when it happened, the links where the photos are. I save it. My hands shake a little as I do, like I've just loaded a bullet into a chamber. The police station is about a 20-minute walk. I could call, but something in me says this needs to be face-to-face. I grab my keys, slip on a clean shirt, and step outside. The sun is already high, the street's busier than I'd like. Every face feels like it might know. I keep moving, focusing on the rhythm of my steps. The station's glass doors slide open, and the blast of cool air hits me. A woman in uniform sits at the front desk, her hair pulled back tight. She looks up, neutral expression. Can I help you? I swallow hard. My ex-girlfriend leaked private photos of me online. I say.
No sugarcoating, no gesetaschen.
Her eyes sharpen, the professionalism kicking in. She asks me to take a seat and wait for an officer. The chairs are hard plastic, arranged in a row. A man in a baseball cap sits 2 seats over, staring at the floor. I stare at the wall. A few minutes later, a male officer appears. Late 30s, tired eyes. He calls my name, and I follow him into a small room with a metal table. Tell me everything, he says, pulling out a notepad. So I do. From the moment I stopped letting her use my debit card to the night the photos went up. I keep my voice steady, though my jaw tightens at certain points. He listens, occasionally nodding, occasionally jotting something down. When I'm done, he asks if I have proof. I pull out my phone, open the screenshots, and slide it across the table. He scrolls slowly, his expression unreadable. This is non-consensual distribution of intimate images, he says finally. It's a criminal offense here. We can start an investigation. There's relief in hearing it put into official words. It's real now, not just in my head, not just online. But there's also fear, because starting this means war, and she doesn't fight clean. He explains the process, taking my statement formally, preserving the evidence, potentially issuing a warrant. I sign papers, my hand cramping halfway through. When it's done, he hands me a case number. An investigator will contact you, he says. Until then, don't engage with her. No texts, no calls. Everything goes through us now. Walking out of the station, the sunlight feels harsher. The street noise is louder, but my steps are steadier. For the first time in days, I feel like I've done something that might actually matter. By the time I get home, there's a voicemail waiting. It's her voice, sweet, almost amused. Wow, really, babe? Police? You think this is gonna end well for you? Click. I sit down, the case number card still in my pocket. She knows already. Maybe she guessed. Maybe she has people watching me. Either way, she's not backing down. I don't delete the voicemail. Instead, I save it. Evidence. Her own voice hanging herself. That night, I can't sleep. Every creak of the building sounds like a footstep in the hall. Every vibration from my phone makes my pulse jump. I keep the lights on, the notebook beside me, the case number on the table like a talisman. Somewhere between 3 and 4 a.m., I realize this isn't going to be over quickly. She's not just going to stop. She's going to fight. And if I want to survive this, I'm going to have to fight too. Harder than I ever thought I could. The first shot comes at 9:14 a.m. I'm halfway through making coffee when my phone buzzes. It's a message from my manager. We need to talk ASAP. Call me. The pit in my stomach forms instantly. I dial. He answers on the first ring, voice tight. Look, someone sent explicit photos of you to the company email.
Anonymous sender.
They were sent to everyone, including upper management. I grip the countertop so hard my knuckles go white. I know who it was, I say. Doesn't matter right now, he replies. HR wants to see you in person. Today. She's fast. Too fast. It's only been a day since the police report, and she's already moving to take my income away. I throw on jeans and a hoodie, head straight to the office. Every step inside feels like walking through a storm of whispers. Eyes flick toward me, then away. Some people smirk. Some look uncomfortable. No one says anything out loud. In the HR office, the director slides a paper toward me. Workplace conduct policy, she says. I skim it. There's nothing about being the victim of an image leak, but there's plenty about professional image and public representation. I didn't send those pictures, I say, keeping my voice even. She nods like she's heard it all before. I believe you, she says, though her eyes suggest something else. But we have to manage the situation. For now, you're suspended with pay while we investigate. Suspended with pay. That's corporate for you're 1 inch from the exit. On the way home, my phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Hey, is this you? Winky face followed by one of the leaked pictures. I block it. Another comes through seconds later from a different number. Block. Repeat. By the time I get home, I've blocked 12 numbers. This isn't just her anymore. She's fed it to the wolves, and now it's spreading. I sit on the couch, my hands trembling, and open the notebook again. I start writing every incident, every timestamp, every number. If I'm going down, I'm not going quietly. At 2:37 p.m., my mom calls. Her voice is shaky. Someone sent me something. I didn't want to believe it was you. I close my eyes. It is me, I admit, but I didn't send it. My ex did. Silence. Then, why would she? Because I stopped giving her my debit card. I cut in. Sounds so stupid out loud, like something from a trashy drama. But it's the truth. By the time I hang up, I'm sweating. Family, friends, work. She's hitting every angle. That night, I don't even pretend I can sleep. I spend hours online digging. I find traces of her burner accounts. One posting the pictures on a revenge forum, another replying to comments with my full name. Every discovery makes my chest tighten, but I screenshot it all. Evidence, evidence, evidence. Around 4 a.m., I stumble on something bigger. One of her posts links to a Dropbox folder. It's not just my photos, it's other guys too. Different faces, different bodies, same style of pictures. And then it clicks. I wasn't the first. She's been doing this. She collects victims. By morning, I'm wired on adrenaline and bad coffee. I head straight back to the station with my laptop, the Dropbox link, and a list of the other usernames she's using. The same officer from before is there. When I show him the folder, his brows rise. This changes things, he says. How? Ask. She's not just targeting you. She's running a pattern that makes it easier to build a case. For the first time in days, I feel a spark, small but real. I'm not just a guy in a scandal. I'm a witness in something bigger. He takes my laptop, logs the evidence, and promises they'll start contacting the other victims. Leaving the station, I realize my fear is shifting. It's still there, but it's turning into something else. Determination. If she wants to play scorched earth, I'll match her. By evening, my suspension email arrives from work. No investigation, just termination.
No severance.
I stare at the screen for a long time. Then I open a blank document and start drafting something new. Not for her, for everyone she's hurt. Public statement. Not some sob story, facts, screenshots, links. I'll drop it all at once on my terms. If she wants me destroyed, fine. But she's going to burn with me. I hit post at 9:02 a.m. Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, screenshots, timelines, Dropbox link blurred except for the folder titles. My caption is short. My ex leaked my explicit photos because I stopped giving her my debit card. She's done this to others too. Here's the proof. It feels like throwing a grenade into a crowd and waiting for the smoke. The first wave of comments is sympathy. Holy crap, dude. I'm so sorry. What a monster. Then the second wave hits skeptics, trolls, armchair detectives. Sure. Bro, bet you sent them to her willingly. Don't take nudes if you can't handle the fallout. They don't get it. They don't want to get it. By noon, my post is trending. By 2 p.m., strangers are digging into her online profiles. They're posting side-by-side screenshots of her usernames, finding her old selfies, even linking her LinkedIn. Part of me is satisfied. Part of me is terrified. At 4:11 p.m., she calls. I let it ring out. She calls again and again. On the fifth try, I answer. You think you can turn people against me? She hisses. They're not against you, I say. They just see what you are. You're playing a dangerous game, baby boy. The nickname makes my skin crawl. You already burned my life down, I reply. I've got nothing left to lose. There's a pause, then a low laugh. Nothing left to lose? Oh, sweetie, you really don't get it yet. The call ends. That night, it escalates. I wake at 1:37 a.m. to the sound of my front door handle rattling. I grab the baseball bat from the closet, heart pounding. By the time I reach the door, the sound stops. Through the peephole, I see nothing but the hallway. Still, I call the cops. They arrive 20 minutes later, shrug, and tell me there's nothing they can do without signs of forced entry. When I check my phone, there's a new text from a blocked number. Nice bat. You always were paranoid. She was here, watching. The next morning, my post gets picked up by a mid-sized news site. The headline is pure clickbait. Man claims ex-girlfriend ran nude leak ring. Internet erupts. I read the article twice, noting every detail they got wrong. They call me Jake instead of my real name. They blur the screenshots too much to be useful, but still it's exposure. By day 3, more men start messaging me privately. Some send proof, screenshots, identical Dropbox folders, even old texts from her with the same tone. She's been doing this for years. She's got a system. I forward everything to the detective. He replies within an hour. This is now an active multi-victim investigation. Keep your phone on. That night, my apartment window cracks. Not shatters, just a single, deliberate crack across the glass. No note, no sound. Just a reminder she can get close whenever she wants. I barely sleep. Every creak in the building makes me sit up, clutching the bat. Every car outside makes me check the blinds. On day 5, I get a DM from a girl I've never met. She says she used to be friends with my ex, says she knows where the original files are kept, on an old external hard drive at her place. She offers to get it for me. I don't know if it's a trap. Feels like one, but I can't ignore it. If I get that drive, it's over for her. I agree to meet the girl in a public cafe the next day. When I arrive, she's already there, sipping coffee. She looks nervous, scanning the room. Here, she says, sliding a small black hard drive across the table. She keeps backups of everything. I copied the folder before she noticed. The weight of it in my hand feels unreal, like holding the final piece of a puzzle that's been consuming my life. When I get home, I plug it in. It's worse than I imagined, hundreds of folders, each labeled with a name. Some names I recognize from the other victims who contacted me. Some I don't. All of it photos, videos, chat logs. I package the entire thing into an encrypted zip and send it to the detective. His reply is short. This is enough to get a warrant. That night, I sleep for the first time in a week. The next morning, the news breaks. Police raided her apartment, seized her devices, and took her in for questioning. They won't tell me if she's in custody yet, but they will tell me that she's not walking free without a lawyer. It's not victory, not yet, but it's the first time in days I feel like I'm not prey anymore. The morning after the raid, my phone won't stop buzzing. First, it's the detective's short update. She's out on bail. Keep your guard up. Then it's texts from unknown numbers. You ruined an innocent woman's life. She said you abused her. People know now. You'll regret this. By 10 a.m., I realize she's already working the narrative from the outside. Posts pop up on Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok. Friends of hers talking about how I manipulated her, how I'm weaponizing the internet against a woman who's done nothing but love me. Some of these people I've met before. Some even smiled at me at parties. Now they're calling me a monster. I spend the whole day trying to push back, sending screenshots, linking articles, sharing police updates. But it's like bailing water from a sinking boat with a coffee cup. For every person I convince, 10 more take her side. By evening, my boss calls. He's seen the posts. Someone sent an email to HR claiming I've distributed revenge porn and targeted women online. He says I'm suspended until further notice. She's not just trying to ruin my reputation. She's trying to erase my livelihood. That night, I get another DM. This one's from an account with no profile picture and a single follower. It says, "You don't know who she really knows." Then a second message, a photo of me walking home yesterday, taken from across the street. I can see the exact bag of groceries in my hand. The timestamp is 5:14 p.m., less than a minute after I left the store. She's got people watching me. I call the detective again. He says they're aware of possible intimidation tactics, but can't confirm if they're tied to her. Translation: I'm on my own until they catch her breaking the law again. 2 days later, I get a call from one of the other victims, a guy named Alex. We've been trading info since this started. He sounds rattled. She just showed up at my work, he says. Just stood across the street. Didn't say anything. I ask if he called the police. Yeah, he says. But they said unless she comes inside or threatens me, they can't do anything. It's the same game. She doesn't cross the legal line. She dances on the edge of it. By the end of the week, her defenders are everywhere. They flood the comment sections of my posts with copy-paste messages. Believe women. Men lie about abuse to save themselves. They tag my employer. They tag my family. My younger sister calls me crying because someone DM'd her a blurred photo from the leaked folder and said, "Your brother's a freak. I've stopped sleeping. Even when I do, I dream of her standing in my apartment doorway, phone in hand, recording." On Sunday night, I decide I can't win this by staying reactive. If she's gonna smear me, I need to show people who she really is, uncut, unfiltered. I go back through the hard drive. Not the explicit stuff, just the messages. There are hundreds where she brags to friends about training men to give her money, about keeping leverage on them. She literally uses the word blackmail more than once, and she's stupid enough to have typed it out. I compile everything into a single PDF and send it to a journalist who's been covering online harassment cases for years. She responds within hours. "If these are verified, this could be huge. Can we meet?" We meet in a quiet coffee shop on Monday morning. I slide the drive across the table like it's evidence in a spy movie. She schemes through the messages, her eyes widening. "This isn't just harassment," she says. "This is organized exploitation." She asks if I'm willing to go on record. I hesitate because once my real name is out there, I can't take it back. But I'm already a public villain in her version of the story. Maybe it's time to tell mine. "I'm in," I say. That night, my phone explodes again. Only this time, it's in my favor. The journalist tweets a teaser. "We've uncovered evidence of a multi-victim exploitation ring targeting men through intimate images. Full story coming this week." It doesn't name me or her yet, but people are guessing. And for the first time in weeks, the tide of comments starts to shift. People are asking questions, doubting her narrative, which is exactly why she calls me at 1:22 a.m. "You think you've won?" she says, voice low and calm. "You're scared," I reply. "No, sweetheart," she says. "I'm just deciding how public I want your real secrets to be." The line goes dead. I sit there in the dark, phone in my lap, wondering if I've just poked something too dangerous to control. The article goes live at 6 a.m. sharp. By 6:05, my phone is vibrating nonstop. By 6:10, my name is trending. The headline is brutal but precise. "Inside a web of intimate image exploitation, how one woman weaponized trust." My face is there, blurred in one photo, clear in another where I agreed to be named. The journalist didn't sugarcoat anything. She laid out the timeline, the screenshots, the patterns across multiple victims. There's a section about how the police are now treating it as a coordinated scheme rather than a one-off incident. Even the detective gave a quote, and there's her name, full and censored, with 3 other verified victims backing the story. By noon, the comments section is a war zone. Half the internet wants her in prison yesterday. The other half insists we're all lying, that we're part of some elaborate conspiracy to destroy a strong woman. But the important part? She's losing control of the narrative. I get messages from strangers thanking me. Men saying they thought they were alone in this kind of abuse. A few women admit they've seen the same tactics in other relationships and never knew what to call it. It's the first time I feel like maybe this wasn't just about me, that maybe speaking up could actually matter. But she doesn't vanish. She doubles down. That night, she goes live on Instagram for 2 straight hours. She's crying in the first 5 minutes. Perfect lighting, smudged mascara, voice shaking. She says I forced her to take those photos. She says I threatened to release them unless she sent me money. She says every screenshot is edited and every witness coached. Her followers flood the chat with hearts and angry face emojis. They spam the hashtag #StandWithS until it's trending too. And then she drops her bomb. a brand new folder of my private photos, now mixed with fakes she clearly doctored, making me look like I'm with people I've never even met. I watch it happen in real time. She's poisoning the evidence pool so nobody knows what's real anymore. The detective calls within the hour. "We're adding obstruction and harassment to her file," he says, but he sounds exhausted, like he knows this is turning into a PR battle, not just a legal one. And he's right, because the next morning my mother calls. She's never really understood the internet, but now she's getting calls from relatives, from people at church, even from an old neighbor who says, "I didn't think he was that type." My mom's voice is breaking. She wants to believe me, she does, but she's confused. There's too much noise. That's when I realize she's not trying to beat me in court. She's trying to break every connection I have until I'm standing alone. I spend the next 3 days in overdrive. I meet with the journalist again, feeding her more proof. I talk to the other victims daily, sharing updates so we can keep our stories airtight. We even create a shared cloud folder with everything we've got, just in case one of us disappears from the internet. But on the 4th night, I get a text that stops me cold. It's from a number I don't know, but the message is just a photo. It's my apartment door, taken in the dark. Fresh footprints in the snow leading right up to it. I grab the baseball bat from under my bed and check the peephole. Nothing. No sound in the hallway. I check the security camera feed from my phone, the one I installed last week. The figure is wearing a hoodie, head down, moving fast. No way to confirm it's her, but the height, the build, it's close. I send it to the detective immediately. He says he'll dispatch a unit, but it'll take time. And while I'm still on the call, there's a knock. It's not the police. It's not her. It's a delivery guy holding a box. No return address. I sign for it because my hands are on autopilot. Inside, every gift I ever gave her. Photos of us printed and ripped in half. And at the very bottom, a flash drive. I don't plug it in. I drive it straight to the station. The detective calls later that night. "It's creative," he says. The drive had a single file, a video of me sleeping. Camera angle from inside my bedroom. That's when I finally say it. "I need to disappear for a while." The journalist agrees. She says the next part of the story will focus on how victims of intimate abuse often have to go into hiding just to survive the fallout. She wants me to be that example. Part of me hates it, feels like running away, but another part knows she's already gotten too close. So I pack one duffel bag, one backpack, the hard drive with everything on it. When I close the door behind me, I don't look back. The cabin smells like cedar and dust. It's small, one room, a kitchenette, a bathroom barely big enough to turn around in. The kind of place you'd think was cozy if you were here on vacation. But I'm not. I'm here because someone I once loved knows how to weaponize my life. The journalist rented it for me under her name. No phone bill, no utilities in mine. I left my real SIM card in the apartment trash. Bought a burner phone from a gas station 50 miles from here. For 2 days, there's silence. No buzzing notifications. No DMs from strangers. No shadow at the corner of my street. Strange, like I'm floating outside the world. On the 3rd day, it changes. I wake to a faint knock on the cabin door. No one should know I'm here. I don't move, just listen. The knock repeats, softer this time, followed by the sound of something sliding under the door. I wait until I hear footsteps crunch away before I pick it up. It's a Polaroid of me, taken yesterday. I'm outside chopping firewood, head down. My stomach twists. I check the tree line. Nothing moves, but I swear I can feel eyes on me. That night, I dream of her voice. The way she'd say my name when she wanted something. Sweet, drawn out, sticky. I wake to my burner phone vibrating. The number is unknown, but the message is short. "You can hide, baby, but you're mine." I delete it instantly, but my hands are shaking. The journalist tells me not to respond, not to let her know she's getting to me. The detective says the same. Easier said than done when you're alone in the woods. A week passes. The article's second part goes live, this time naming 5 victims in total. Each one tells a story that's terrifying in its sameness. Love bombing, financial control, threats, exposure. It's a pattern you can't unsee once it's laid out. The public starts shifting. The hashtags defending her get drowned out by the ones calling for her arrest. Even some of her own followers turn on her when they realize she's been recycling the same sob story excuses for years. But the pressure makes her unpredictable. That's when she finds a new angle. The journalist calls me in the middle of the night. She's trying to flip the story, she says. She's telling people you were the mastermind, that you and I are running some kind of victim industry for money. First, I laugh, it sounds ridiculous. Then she tells me she's already received 3 death threats from her fans. It hits me like a cold slap. This isn't about proving innocence anymore. It's about survival. And she's willing to burn anyone to the ground to keep herself in control. 2 days later, the cabin's front door is wide open when I wake up. I know I locked it. My duffel bag is untouched, the laptop's still there, nothing stolen. Except there's a single object on the bed. My old debit card, the one she used to use. I leave that morning. The journalist finds me another place. This time, a friend's empty apartment in the city. More people around, more cameras, more noise to hide in. But on my first night there, I get another message. When you're ready to stop running, I'll still take you back. The worst part? She means it. And I know she'd smile while saying it to my face. I'm done running. Every time I move, she finds me. Every time I hide, she sends a message to remind me I'm still in her grip. It's not just about my photos anymore. It's about the fact that she gets to own the ending. I can't let that happen. The journalist doesn't like it when I say the word trap. She says it sounds reckless. The detective says it sounds illegal. But I don't care. If I keep letting her dictate the rules, I'll never breathe freely again. The plan starts with a fake apology. I write it out carefully, just the right amount of contrition, just enough nostalgia to hook her. I've been thinking about us a lot, about how things went wrong. I hate how it ended. Can we talk? I use my old email, the one I know she still checks when she's stalking me. Within 2 hours, she replies, I knew you'd come around. There's a winking emoji at the end, and I can see it in my head, her exact smirk when she typed it. We agree to meet in a public place. A rooftop bar she used to like. Dim lights, loud music, easy exits. She thinks I picked it because it's neutral ground. But I picked it because I know the manager. And because the detective will be watching from a corner table. The night of I dress simply. No jewelry, no watch. My phone stays in airplane mode except for one hidden app the detective gave me, recording everything. She's already there when I arrive. Same red lipstick, same black dress that used to make my brain short-circuit. She looks exactly like the woman I fell for, and nothing like the one who destroyed me. Wow, she says, smiling like a cat with cream. I thought you'd be skinnier by now. I laugh, because I don't care anymore. I take the seat across from her and let her talk. She starts with the usual memories. Remember when stories, subtle jabs to keep me off balance. Then she pivots. Listen, baby, I could still make all this go away. I have connections, but you'd have to trust me again. Trust you, I say, sipping my drink. You mean like giving you my card again? She grins. Or something better. We could work together. Make money off this. The words taste like poison in the air. And I know now, she's not just cruel, she's proud of it. I lean back. You know, I recorded this whole conversation. Her smile freezes. For a split second, I see the real her, calculating, cold, scanning the room for angles. Then she laughs. Oh, baby, I can play this game better than you. She reaches for her purse. That's when the detective approaches. Not rushing, not dramatic, just a calm, deliberate presence beside our table. Evening, mind if we chat? Her eyes dart between us. For the first time, she looks unsure. I don't say a word. I don't have to. The detective explains that the threats, the leaks, the harassment, it's all been documented. That several victims have already given statements. That this conversation is just the cherry on top. She tries to play dumb, then tries to cry, then tries to turn it on me. None of it works. When they walk her out, she turns back once. Her face is blank. No rage, no sorrow, just emptiness. It's almost worse than anger, like she's already rewriting the story in her head, casting herself as the wronged one again. The detective says it could take months for the legal process to finish, that she might still find ways to poke at me from the shadows. But the important thing is that she's no longer untouchable, and I'm no longer hiding. That night, I walk home through the city. For the first time in years, I don't feel like there's someone just behind me. I don't feel owned. I just feel free. They tell you that when someone shows you who they are, you should believe them the first time. I didn't. I wanted to believe the girl I met at the gym, not the woman who held my dignity for ransom. I kept thinking there was a version of her that loved me without needing to own me. But here's the truth. When someone crosses that line, there is no old version of them to go back to. There's only who they are when they think they have power over you. And when she leaked my photos, I thought she'd taken everything from me. But I was wrong. She didn't take my future. She didn't take my ability to fight back. She didn't take the fact that I still get to decide who I am after this. So if you're watching this right now and you're in something that feels like love but tastes like fear, leave. Don't wait for them to cross the line so far that you can't even see where it used to be. Because once you stop running, once you take your life back, they lose the only thing they ever really had, control. And that's the ending I'm choosing to remember.